Wake up. It's a new video. Let's do it. My name is Ethan. I'm a producer of a comic book that I am creating called Strange Encounters, and I am making a YouTube series documenting my progress on creating it. This week, as well as the last week, and even a little bit the week before last week, I think, too, I've been working on making the city, the town of Summit View County, and making it as realistic and as thoroughly built and ingrained in my ideas as I can possibly do so. I'm very tired, and I've been staring at my iPad for the past 2.5 hours. Have I been staring at my iPad for the past 2.5 hours, you might be thinking? Because I have been designing Bubba's Diner. Now, I have cookies in the... Oh my gosh. I have made the line work for Bubba's Diner, and it has been making my brain feel like flying out of my head because it is so hard to get perspective right. I learned about perspective drawing in high school, and I don't understand where that knowledge disappeared because perspective drawing is so hard to do. In this video, I thought we could watch a time lapse of my creating Bubba's Diner, at least the line work for it, because I've started doing coloring. I haven't finished doing coloring, so I intend on ending the time lapse right before I start coloring the stinking thing. And then maybe I can go over that in a different video next week or sometime. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the time lapse of creating Bubba's Diner. Let's get right into it. So here we go with Bubba's Diner. You can see I did an initial sketch that I showed you guys in a couple of videos ago, and I'm digitalizing it. I took a picture of it and I uploaded that picture into the software I use called Procreate, and I start just scanning over the line work, making everything. I started drawing trees in the background as well, making everything digitalized, trying to plan out all the layouts of where everything's gonna go. Some shingles, drawing some windows, some trees, background, and then I wrote 1 hour because I gave myself 1 hour to work on it, and then I sort of didn't follow up on that. I kept working on it after an hour, and so I started drawing shingles and making the logo for Bubbas and laying everything out again, and I really went crazy with the shingles. I copied and pasted and filled them all up with different designs and patterns, and if you look really closely you can see them, and so I copied and pasted it and made it look like a roof, tried to fill everything in, as well as designing the logo at the top. It's like a big billboard sort of light deal that shouts out, "Hey, Bubba Moones Diner," and this is where Bubba works. This is where I talked about Bubba already in one of my videos with the Bubba theory, but Bubba is a character from out of this planet who wants to bring all of the delicious foods from around the universe into one place at his diner. He loves the idea of sharing that with people. Now this is where perspective comes in. I tried to make everything look as lined up with angled drawings as I could, and you can see I was just not having it. I was going crazy with the line work. I was trying to use the perspective tools on Procreate. I made triangles, I made rectangles, I made trapezoids, and finally I made a box that worked. And I'm like, okay, here we go, and started developing based off of that box. That was the preliminary drawing, and I drew these little tiles. I drew the, what are the overhangs outside where people would sit, some lights, and I drew the logo again. You'll see me draw the logo a couple of times in this video because I just could not make myself satisfied with it. Drew a box, drew a door, some windows, and again, I redrew the logo because I didn't like how it looked. So that was a rough sketch of the logo. It looks okay. I like the layout of it at least, but it could use some work. And that's what I told myself. It could use some work. And you got the rocket ship coming out of it. You got the moon Sort of tying into his name. His name is Bubba Moone, so it's cute. It's cute, okay? It's got a moon on it. I like that. I think it's cool. Then this little orb here connecting the logo to the building itself. I was really happy that I had finally just made a rectangle, or a box, that was following correct perspective. The way perspective works is actually really interesting when you know how it goes and how to use it properly, which I finally remembered how to. You take a point in the background and you line up that point, and all of the lines have to, you can sort of see on the side of the building there that the very uppermost line of the cube, or it's not really a cube, but the rectangular cube, and the bottom line of the rectangular cube on the side of the building are angled in a way that if they continued to travel into the distance, they would connect, and all of the lines need to follow that angle. And if you get it right, then it makes sense in your brain when you look at it. If you get it wrong, then your brain tells you that is not angled correctly. You're doing something wrong here. And I spent hours trying to get those lines right. And I'm very proud of myself for doing so. So I took the initial sketch, I refined it, and then I refined it again. So here you see me doing the logo one last time, making it as squeaky clean and beautiful as I possibly could, redrawing that rocket ship again. Bubba Moones Diner. Perfect place to come and eat no matter what planet you're from. A lot of stuff is just redrawing things over and over and over again. It gets to be tedious, and it gets in your brain that you're going a little crazy, but in the end, I definitely think it's worth it. I put Diner in the Jack Armstrong logo, or not logo, Jack Armstrong font. We got the tiles, or the overhangs again. I'm adding fine details to those. Really trying to make sure everything comes out looking as refined and detailed as I possibly could get in the line work. Made the windows, I made a bulletin board, and then the sidewalk, some details on the windows as well. More details on the overhangs. I filled in the information on the bulletin boards, made an open sign, and now I work on the sidewalk, which actually goes by a lot quicker than I thought it would. There's a sidewalk. It was pretty easy. Following the perspective. Once I understood what I was doing for perspective, it went by pretty quickly. And that's what makes perspective really fascinating too, is once you understand it, everything can line up properly and look correct. You see here I'm doing similar to what I did with the point concept art, making trees, making bushes. Nature is a big prominent aspect in Strange Encounters. It has the town of Springview County is surrounded by nature, by trees, by wilderness and mountains, and I really wanted to implement that in my comic book. And so you can see the thick forests, thick trees, thick bushes. But with Bubba Moons, what I thought would be cool is the spaceship that Bubba used to land on Earth is constantly just sitting next to his diner. He doesn't want to go home. It's fully functional. It could take off if it really wanted to. But he loves it here. It's his home. He loves sharing what he does with people. And that's why you see his spaceship just parked there. But it adds a cool little contrast between the trees and the forest, seeing something so starkly different as a spaceship from outer space. Adds a cool contrast, and I think it looks nice. So I added more details to the trees. I'm really going for a stylized natural look. I want the trees to look almost Dr. Seussian in essence. I watched some cool information on Dr. Seuss's artwork a couple of days ago, and it inspired me, not gonna lie. It was pretty cool. So you see me adding a lot of bush stuff, some trees, more bushes in the background. You see this is cool. With layering, I was able to, I didn't go through with it, I guess, but I was going to add a tree into the background. Add the sun, and about here's when I start coloring it. You can see how far I got with that. Not terribly far, but maybe I'll make another video in the future going over the rest of the coloring for this time lapse. I think that might be cool to share with you guys. So yes, you can see now why my brain feels like mush, and how long and confusing creating a perspectively correct, that's not a good way of phrasing things, creating a correct perspective on a building can be. And coloring it is going to be another piece of work in and of itself. But it's fun! It's so cool to see all of my stuff coming together. I do really enjoy making this stuff. It's super enjoyable, and it does bring me a lot of satisfaction to see things come through and work out as they have, especially with this design. Even though it's taken a very long time to accomplish and finish this design, it does feel very good to be able to look at it and say to myself, yes, that is what I'm going for. And I hope for your guys' sakes, all of you that are working on anything, it doesn't even matter what you're working on, but whatever you're working on, I hope that you find satisfaction in it. I hope you can look at it when it's done and say, hey, I'm happy with how that came out. I wish that for you guys, and I wish that for myself on the next project of coloring this stinking piece of artwork. All again for watching so much. I hope I bring some entertaining content for you guys this week and all weeks. Every time I bring up a video, I hope you guys find enjoyment in it. Announcements. Let's think here. I don't really have anything. I'm still working on this city, and this city's going to be a bigger project than I thought it was going to be. I gave myself 3 weeks. I'm giving myself more than that. I'm not putting a limit on it right now. I'm going to just let this thing ride out and see how long it takes, because if one building out of, I don't even know how many buildings I have to design for this first comic book, but it's a lot. So if one building took this long to just conceptualize one image of it, I can't even tell you how long the rest of it is going to take. It's going to be fun. It'll be a cool little progressive journey that I'll take with you guys, and you'll be able to see it all here on this YouTube channel. The best rest of your night, best rest of your day, week, month, year, whatever it is that you guys are sitting around on. I wish you the best of it, and I hope you all enjoy your time, and thank you again so much for watching my videos. We end today's video. Once more, a huge shout out to ScuffStation Gaming for partnering with me and my channel. SSG is an esports organization that competes and creates content in a whole variety of games, Rocket League, all sorts of good stuff. And if you are looking for more information or wanting to join yourselves, feel free to take a look at the link in the description alongside my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all my social medias, as well as my own personal website. And again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great evening. Thank you again. Bye-bye.